So I'll do the intro and I'll actually introduce myself about who we are as well. I will get that who we are and then questions and then comments. All right, yeah, let me know when you're ready.
I'm good.
Okay, cool. Is this recording? Yep, just making sure. All right. Yeah, I think we're good. This is a good crowd. How's everyone doing? Good? Cool. Yeah, I feel that. But it's the last day today.
Yeah, it's the last
Okay,
day.
cool. And it's like, what day is it?
Everyone's like, oh, I don't know.
All good, all with us. All right, let's do this. So, yeah, we'll get started then. We'll get started. I always do a countdown, so just for my own, when we do our podcast, I always count down to the thing. So just so I feel okay when we do a countdown. So we will go in 3, 2. Hello and welcome to the Story X Story podcast. This is the podcast by mayamada that dives deep into stories across pop culture, plus gives you ideas on creating your own. So I am the mayamada co-founder, Nigel.
I am Tazziii, content creator and creative director. Do you know what? I got confused there of what intro to do. Because like, do I do the podcast intro or do I do
the live stream
intro?
Yeah. By this point, we've got like in our brains certain introductions that we just go to automatically, and because we're in a new environment, so which one do we go to? It's funny how that works. But yeah, for those that don't know, mayamada is a storytelling brand. We make stories, so we make manga style stories. We also do a lot of workshops with young people. So we help people, actually not just young people, because all people. We help people build their creative confidence when it comes to stories. We use storytelling mediums like video games to engage people, and we do a podcast, so we talk about stories. So we are here for a special live version of the podcast at Develop Brighton. So for people listening to this later, you'll have to imagine like sun and sand and sea.
It's actually a rock beach, but
it is a rock beach.
Yeah.
You are correct. But it's imagination. So just imagine. Yeah. Who cares about accuracy? Just imagine sun and sand and sea. So yeah, we're here at Develop Brighton. So this is the developer conference. This is like the developer conference in the UK. I don't know if there's another one. Is there? I'm getting nods. Okay, we'll fact check that.
there's more about
Okay. Well, this is the yeah. All right. So yeah. So every year around this time, the games industry gets together in one hotel, literally one hotel in Brighton, to talk all things game development and game industry. So I know we speak to a lot of young people. In fact, one of them is here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you. Yeah. So. Yeah, so we speak to a lot of young people. He genuinely surprised me that he said he was going to come.
He's been at everything. He was at Storm at BAFTA.
We are being stalked by one team.
Came to our gamepad.
Game to our event.
Social, yeah.
So yeah, we talked to a lot of young people who want to be in the industry. Like I said, one of them is here soaking it in. So what we want to do here is just talk a bit about our experiences, but also invite people who have definitely been here longer than me. I got here last night. And came in straight to my talk. So this is also for me, just to find out what's been going on. So we want to talk to people who have been here at the conference. Yeah, just so we can share this with other people, get a sense of what it's like. And like I said, personally, so I know what's been going on because I just got here. But let's talk a bit about ourselves, not to be too narcissistic or anything, but we'll just talk a bit about ourselves. So Tazziii, you have actually been here longer than I have. What have you done so far? What have I missed?
So I haven't done any of the like official Develop stuff. There's a lot of unofficial stuff at Develop. So I went to like a meet thing yesterday for community management.
Okay.
That was really great. It was really they had like free panels and then like I just hang out and chat and network after. So that was really good. I also went to the indie showcase, the Indie Treasures. That was at Barclays Bank. So I checked that out last night, and then this morning I went to a like comms marketing breakfast
Cool.
that had no breakfast. The place wasn't serving anything yet.
That sounds like
It
false
was just like
advertising to me.
it was like just tea and coffee, and I don't drink any of those things. So I had a water. So then I had to go and get breakfast, and I missed like the one talk I was planning to go to this morning. And I had like a 5 minute whiz round like the expo, which is like a maze getting to. It's like such a mission to get to the actual expo bit. And I'm like, oh, okay. But there's a lot there. It's so different
It's
from
very
like a
packed.
consumer event.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Because I was here last year. I mean, you were here last year, but you missed the actual.
I just went to the Festival of Food, which is great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Show of hands. I mean, this is great for a podcast, but show of hands. Who's been here previously and cool. And then I assume everyone else is the first time. Okay, cool. All right, so we've got a good,
Like half and half.
yeah, good mix. So I did go to the expo last year, and last year I got to stay for like the whole 3 days, and it was a really good experience. And I think for me, it's because of our, I guess, our place in terms of doing stuff with the industry. So we also do the Do I Look Like a Gamer video game representation campaign. So it gives us an opportunity to speak to different people in games companies, but then also because, again, work with young people is important for like us to learn, so then we can sort of pass that on in a sense. So yeah, last year I got to enjoy that, and then what I'm hoping to do this year is just like talk to as many people as possible, and this is partly why I want to do the podcast, because it makes my job easier. But let's talk a bit about games, and then we're gonna introduce people, those who are comfortable coming on stage. So I play games, despite some people think I don't play any games, but I do play games. What are you playing at the moment?
Oh, do you know what? Loads of people have asked me this in the last like 24 hours. I am playing some throwbacks. So I'm playing Majora's Mask on the 3DS. I'm also playing Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and I'm also playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Okay. So what got you back into Assassin's Creed?
Do you know what? I was on the train home, and I mean, anyone that listens to the podcast may have heard that like I've been a bit of a lull in enjoying things lately. And I just, in my head, I was like, I need to play a Ubisoft game. And then I was like, I need to play something set in London. So I tried to play Assassin's Creed Syndicate, but I have it digitally on Xbox, and the servers were down. So I then was like, my PS3 is plugged in. Let me bring out an old school physical game and play it the way games are supposed
So
to be
you
played.
put something
I
into
put a disc into a console, yeah. And
Imagine that.
yeah, it was fun. So now I'm playing like both two versions of Assassin's Creed alongside each other,
Okay.
which is very interesting considering playing on different platforms as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool to see how far it's come. But also like the graphics on Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I remember thinking they were so realistic. And looking back, and I mean they're still like they're okay, but they're not anywhere near how I remember them being.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Because we're in a stage of like a lot of remakes, remasters of previous games, and in your mind, when a game is remade and you see it, you're like, oh yeah, that's how it always looked, and then you compare it to the original, and it's like, no, it's
It just goes to show how much of our imaginations fill in the polygons.
that's deep.
Because I mean, it looked real.
Yeah.
And it clearly doesn't look real.
Yeah.
So my
Yes.
brain was going, I don't need all of the information.
Just
Here
enough.
is the rest of it.
Yeah. That's quite profound.
What have you been playing? I'm guessing you're not playing God of War still.
My favorite game, and objectively the best game ever, is God of War. I have not played it. I have, because I started the DLC, Valhalla, but I think at the time I had a moment of clarity, and I was like, you know what? I need to give time to another game, so I'm going to come back to this, and I haven't come back to it yet. So I'm due to come back to that. But I actually haven't been playing much because we've had a lot of events. So we had a campaign event over the weekend, and basically the past month we've been preparing for all these different events. So yeah, I've been a bit up and down. So we did the Yuki Festival of Play.
Yeah.
So Yuki do what they call a tech conference for kids, which is a line I really like. So we did that. Then we did our event. Then we were at BAFTA. Then I was in Sheffield until last night, and then here. So it's been a time. But at our Cupcake and Gamepad social, what is interesting is we do this event as part of the campaign. The idea for the campaign is to like showcase pathways into the industry and culture for young people, but not exclusively young people, but people who aspire to be in the games industry or just interested in how it works. So the Cupcake and Gamepad social is our networking event. So it's about, sorry, I'm gonna quick edit this out. Just double check. Isn't okay, cool.
Yeah,
All right.
like, proper panic.
It scared me, yeah. For a second. Okay, cool. All right. We'll edit that bit out. Yeah, so where was I? Oh yeah, so the idea for the Cupcake and Gamepad social is providing like a low stakes way for people to come and network, meet other people, and then also showcase games. So even though I haven't been playing many games recently, I did get to talk to someone who makes games. So I don't know if you got to chat to Moo at all.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if he's here, but I met him at a GDC networking thing and then invited him to our event. So he has this game called Myth Match. So it takes from Greek mythology, and then it also becomes like match 3 game. So I thought that was quite cool. I didn't talk to him about the game. I find myself talking to people about their games more than I play games, but it's fine. We got to give him an opportunity to demo that game. He gave some cool feedback at the end. I'll share that with you later. He sent me a nice email afterwards, and yeah, and then I'm here. I blinked and then I'm here. So yeah, haven't been playing much, but we're interested to know what other people are playing and how they found the conference. So do we have anyone that would like to join us on stage? There is an empty chair. All right, we've got one candidate. I was going to say victim, but
Hello.
cool.
We filmed.
Yeah.
We are. Anything you say can and will be
hair look okay.
Hello. So welcome. Do you want to let us know a bit about who you are and what you do?
So I'm Jack Mullen. What do I do? First develop. So I'm in another industry full time, but I make a lot of content on the side as a side gig. I'm also an ambassador for Safe and Well mental health gaming charity, who I was repping yesterday. They've got a stand elsewhere if you want to go and see them. They're really good. They've really good course for mental health awareness, that sort of stuff.
Is that in the expo?
That is in the expo,
Okay.
right in the corner. So yeah, they're very good at influencing internal industry culture. We're making things a safer place in some places, a less toxic place, and also good for community and people telling stories about their own mental health journey. So I'm passionate about mental health in general and games as well. So good fit for me. But today I'm a bit walking around as a punter and coming to things like this and sort of seeing and saying all that stuff. So been good so far. Everyone's very friendly and open to say hello. So
And you said this is your
this
first.
is the first developer I've been to, yeah. Not
What's-
first time in Brighton, first time in development.
Okay. What's been the best part so far?
Doing this, I'm enjoying this.
There we go.
In front of
That's all we needed.
been a bit of a peacock on stage and saying hello to people and showing off and all sorts of stuff like that. So I'm serious, by the way. I'm not...
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Do you want to?
Yeah. So what games are you playing at the moment?
What games am I playing at the moment? Right, Final Fantasy Tactics, War of the Lions. Do they want to know about that?
Not
It's quite an old game now. Actually, the original Final Fantasy Tactics came out in 1997, and then the remade version came out in 2007, 10 years later on the PSP. So I'm playing my old PSP. I brought it with me. I've started a Final Fantasy podcast quite recently, and we're playing through some of the older Final Fantasy games. It's like it's a tactical RPG, so like an isometric view. So the way I describe it is like Warhammer in a game. So you kind of like take it in turns to sort of, pick off different enemies on the screen and stuff like that. It's very much start stop, and I really like it, and I've really been enjoying it. So I'm playing that, and as I'm playing it, I'm sort of writing about it as well to help the podcast and do that. So that's actually a really enjoyable way for me to play games. I feel like I'm doing something with it as opposed to sitting there just playing for hours and hours, which I would do normally. So that's a great game, and I love Final Fantasy in general. So that's
Yeah, it's interesting how I know so many gamers that have to justify
yeah,
time playing.
yeah.
What is that? I feel like that's a societal pressure that we've been told about.
Maybe I think some of it is that I think I'm quite a social person, and I think sometimes I'm also very I don't want to use the word addictive, but like I will get stuck on one thing for a long period of time, and I like trying balancing those things. So if I do something like I create a bit of content about something and put it out there, I might get some interaction from that, as opposed to, I mean, some people get that from playing online games. I'm not really a big online player because I know what will happen. I'll never do anything else. That's why I've never played World of Warcraft. I'd like to, but it would be like thousands and thousands of hours.
Resist temptation.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just how I see it for me. So, but
It's
no
good to be
guilt.
self-aware.
Yes, I think so. Sometimes, fingers crossed. But
Yeah, definitely. Has there been any like standout moments or things from Develop so far?
I've already said this, haven't I? No. It's been really refreshing to see at the Safe in Our World stand people coming up and saying about how they're already aware of the charity, and they're open to talk about mental health. They've got a lot of people that have come along and sort of shared experiences and didn't know about them, but I have to contradict myself there. People that knew about them, but people that didn't know about them. People that are really keen to share that kind of stuff, which is really refreshing, because in other places, people can be quite sort of clammed up about their own experiences. And I think it's really good to talk about things and just, be open and say, look, I'm having a really rough time at the moment, or can anyone else have that experience and maybe help me through it with their own experience. So
Yeah, and I feel like particularly like now, because the games industry is going through like
Yes,
a tough time, and I find that sometimes you have that when it comes to mental health, it can be a case of thinking like you're the only one.
yeah,
But sometimes like you're the only one going through this experience, and obviously every experience is unique, but then there's like similarities between things people are going through, and then when you start to talk about it, you go, oh, actually you're going through something similar, this is how I dealt with it, or this is how I'm working through it.
Yeah.
Kind of that shared experience helps.
I think so. I think one thing I've found, because I'll start most conversations with, I'm in another industry full of time, so I'm technically not part of the industry. And someone said to me the other day, "No, you are. If you're making content, you're part of it." And that was really good to me, because it's like, well, actually, I feel included now. And I think an event like this, where people are encouraged to talk to each other, is actually really positive, because some people that may be a little bit introverted and a bit scared to talk to people feel a bit more comfortable. So I wouldn't say I'm introverted, but at the same time, it can be a bit daunting, especially with all these people that have got incredible CVs. Think, really, should I be here? But I've not felt like that once from being here, so which is really, really good. So
That's cool.
Yeah. I just had a question, and it went like,
yes, I like the sandy beach. It's really nice sandy beach.
Yeah. The very real sandy beach.
But yeah, I totally get the just feeling welcome. I had a bit of like imposter
Yeah.
syndrome earlier, where I was like, oh my god, like everyone here is like part of the game making process. But actually, like, even though like we're not necessarily part of the game making process, we kind of are. We're kind of like planting the seeds to grow the game trees.
We're finding those young people who will one day make the game.
Yeah, which is really refreshing, because actually I've had an experience today and sort of over the past week, where we've been at different things, how people have been to an event or been part of the campaign or seen the campaign, and how that has set them on a trajectory to work in the games industry. And I'm like, we've done it.
Yeah. Should put that on the website.
Yeah. They've like either been to our events and made a connection that helped them on their way, or just felt inspired by seeing so many different faces and roles and types of people. Someone had seen the campaign, like I was having breakfast, and someone was like, "Oh, mayamada," and I was like, "Yes." Like, love your campaign. And I'm like, I love that. And they're saying just how, they were someone neurodivergent like me, and it's just like seeing different types of people, like how beneficial that is. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're meant to be here.
It's interesting as well because everyone's got a story to tell. I think
Everyone does. Yeah.
And I think it's good to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Last question, and then we'll again, if anyone else wants to join on stage, but because we are near a very real sandy beach, what's your go-to game for like relaxing on a beach, sandy or otherwise?
I think I've said this before, but Tekken 3, right? Tekken 3.
That's not what I was expecting.
No. It's good. If I'm stressed out, I'd like putting Tekken 3 on, picking Warang, and going through arcade mode and just pressing up and circle because his kick beats everything.
Okay.
And at the end, I feel so much better. Yeah,
That's
don't expect.
Kicks
It sounds like it's like I'm not chilling out while playing it, but at the end, I feel chilled. Should I say?
I was because in our campaign we had Rima who works at Co-Covering. I don't know if Co-Covering are here, but when we were doing the interviews with her, I said to her like, "What's I think we were talking about family connection to games, and I asked her like, "What's the family go-to game?" And she said Tekken. I was like, I was expecting like Mario. So but yeah, apparently Tekken has many uses.
What's good about Tekken is that each of the. I'm thinking of old school PlayStation. There's the triangle, square, circle, X. Each of those buttons corresponds to a limb. So certainly when I play it, it feels like, if I want to throw a right punch, I know I press circle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I almost feel like I'm kind of doing it in a sense, if that makes sense. Whereas some fighting games, you've got to like break combinations and do stuff like that. So that works for me anyway.
Yeah.
Like your virtual punching bag, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not a violent person, but in games.
In games, you're brutal. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, Jack, thank you for being our
Thanks for having me
on this experiment. Thank you
very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Was lower than I thought.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
Very super villain.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have a cat in my life.
Yeah, I feel like I should be plotting more domination.
What would your cat's name be?
I would probably have my actual cat. His name is Salem.
Salem. Oh, brilliant.
Because he's a black cat and I have no imagination.
I love
And also he just moved into my house one day.
Oh,
You just turned up.
Cat distribution system.
that's 100% witch vibes.
Cool. Fair enough. So before we go into the cat, we should ask about you. Do you want to let us know who you are and where do you fit in this broad games space?
So I am Shawny, Alison. I'm the community manager for Bonsai Collective working on Luna Abyss. I also, since 2018, have created content on Twitch, gaming, and I'm a disabled gamer and I'm do accessibility stuff and a bit of everything really.
Cool. Okay. That sounds good. And I couldn't remember the show of hands. Had you been to develop before?
Yeah, so I came last year, so this is my second year with the full conference, and I've came 1 year previously with just the Expo Pass.
Right. Okay. And then, so how have you found it? Particularly like maybe compared to other years if it's different, but what have you seen this year over these days that have like stood out to you?
It's felt a lot busier this year. I come with a group called Blind Burners. You may have seen us around.
I literally came from my hotel. I don't know where I'm pointing in the direction, but my hotel was like 5-minute walk from me. I came from the hotel, stopped off at Greg's because I had to eat. Came here, and I've been in this room. So you have to tell me everything that is going on.
So games industry events that are in person as a whole are not super accessible for everyone. And they're definitely not accessible if you are blind or visually impaired. For getting around, for attending talks, conferences, networking. So what we do is we take blind and visually impaired people that are aspiring to get into the industry, and we pair them up with sighted devs who help them navigate the conference, help them network with people, find the people that they want to talk to introduce them to, and just as a whole make it easier for them to be able to attend.
Okay.
That is amazing.
This is our second year doing it. It's our pilot program started last develop, and we've doubled in size since then.
That is so good, and it's just something as a sighted person like I wouldn't think of.
Yeah.
So that's like really, really like I mean, yes, it makes sense. Like now that you've said it, I'm like, yeah, why is that just not a standard thing?
Exactly. It's accessibility it's come a long way, but it's nowhere near where it needs to be for like physical events.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just helping bridge that gap a little bit.
Yeah. What can people do to help, like, bring it to more events and make it possible and make it bigger?
Tell people about us.
Yeah.
Tell your companies about us and see if they want to help sponsor us so we can bring more people to these events. Develop were very kind in giving us passes, but we also try and cover as much travel and accommodation for our participants as we can, because they blind people, well, disabled people in general in the UK, on average, our monthly costs are about £1,000 more than an able-bodied person. So we're trying to help financially as well to break down that barrier.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that's one of the things that gets missed. So I'm also involved in the Children's Media Conference, and there's a whole discussion about outreach and getting people to the conference, which is in Sheffield. And one of the things that comes up is like you say, like the ticket, so we can or they can give out like tickets and bring people, but then it's the cost of getting there. And then you have to think about if it's like a young person in that instance, if it's a young person likely to come with a parent and that. So there's a whole, and you know, we talk about diversity. So it's that broad consideration of it's not just like getting the person there, but supporting them to get there and be in that space. So that's definitely something that I've had to think about and learn. And I definitely feel you on like the sponsorship and getting companies to support, because that's a whole thing that needs to be done a bit more. So any tips and tricks? Yeah, you can talk to us later and you can swap notes. Yeah.
How has the accessibility been here?
Overall, it's been okay. It's a little difficult just because it's such a busy conference. It feels like the conference has kind of grown too big for where it is. So navigating can be a little bit tougher. But I mean, we're managing as best we can, and we're making sure that everyone's being safe and getting where they need to be. But it is a lot of work that we're putting in kind of on our end that ideally would be in place already.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's all like I imagine there's some kind of feedback mechanism here that you can share that after the conference, or if not, we can find a way to do that. Yeah.
I mean, we generally, one of the main things that we've been doing with these pilot programs is getting feedback from people after each event. So how we can improve, but also what we can see if we can get put in place by venues.
Right.
Just to kind of make it a little bit easier, a little bit more accessible. And I mean, accessibility helps everyone.
Yeah. Definitely. We haven't asked you, what have you been playing?
Too much. I ADHD, so I am constantly switching between games. I'm still playing Baldur's Gate 3. I have not gotten past the last light in Act 2 yet. I have about 20 playthroughs where I'm like, I'm going to do something different. No, I'm not. I tried to do a evil playthrough. I can't be mean to NPCs. It makes me upset.
You're too good of a person.
I've been playing RimWorld, which is like a colony sim. It's made by Single Dev, and it's basically your pawns kind of end up on a RimWorld, which is like a planet, and there's like hostile things, and I usually turn it down to be like quite easy because it's like I just want it to be chill. I just want to like build my little village, have some fun with it. But I do know some people that play it and call it like organ harvester simulator, because you can capture people and harvest their organs.
Interesting.
And
that sounds like a good game for discovering new things about people.
Yeah.
It'll tell you a lot about someone, I think. And I've also been playing Black Mesa for the first time, because I never played Half-Life, none of them. So I've been playing through that as well, which has been fun. I think I'm near the end. Got very confused when I like ended up in a completely different planet or dimension or whatever it was, and there was just all these like animals like floating around, and I was like, I don't know what just happened. Still very confused why I, as a scientist, am the one being given guns to go and do things instead of the security guards.
How's that explained in the story?
I
don't remember.
I don't know. I've not gotten there yet. I don't think. It might be. I hope it's explained at the end. Otherwise, I'm just going to be perpetually confused.
That's cool. That because I don't think I played Half-Life 1, maybe a bit of it, but Half-Life 2 is I feel like a game years ahead of its time. Because, and to be fair, this might be the remix and remaster in my mind filling in gaps, but in my mind it could stand up to today's shooters in my mind. And I might have to go back and look at it again, but I just remember it being very ahead of its time. And apparently I haven't played it, but Half-Life Alyx, which is on some VR system, I guess
Steam VR.
Yeah.
Valve's. What's Valve?
Steam VR.
Oh yeah, because
It's just
Yeah.
Steam VR.
Yeah. Apparently that is a extremely good game, but I don't have Steam VR, so we'll never know. But cool. All right. Last question. What are you looking forward to do you still have time at the conference? What are you most looking forward to doing? Other than maybe going home and sleeping.
That is the high one. I'm looking forward to the special effects party tonight. That's always good every year. And just hopefully getting to meet up with some people that I've kind of just been like ships passing in the night with so far because of how busy it is.
Sure.
Gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed you didn't ask me what I play to relax because.
Oh, should we keep?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah,
sure
can
to
you? Can
to
you?
We
keep
can-
that in
yeah,
the-
maybe,
all right,
yeah.
we're doing it. It's now a thing. Okay, what is your go-to beach relaxing game?
Green Hell.
I'm going to keep asking this question. No, I feel like no one's going to give an expected
thing.
answer.
You can make it more peaceful. So I turn off the arachnids because I'm terrified of spiders, and I turn off like the enemy tribes that can attack you. I leave the other hazards on because they can be quite fun, and then I just like pretend I'm in the wilderness building my own little homestead and escaping capitalistic hellscape we live in.
I love how we're taking like not peaceful games,
Yeah.
and just turning it into cool. All right, that is these answers keep getting more and more interesting. But yeah, thank you for joining us, and another round of applause for.
Oh, sorry, let me just introduce
Yes, you tell us who you are.
So I'm Sheena Malam and I'm a career seeker. I'm a recent grad, consider it. I graduated last year. I worked for like a toy company on running the Amazon store. But I was recently made redundant. So I'm just trying to network and just, see what else is out there. And I recently went to your cupcake event. I don't know if you
Oh.
I talked to you about the Dragon Ball Z balls or something like that.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Even-
Sorry, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I completely come to that. And we're like, blah, blah, blah.
I've been here since Monday and I've just been like, oh my God, I'm so drained. Talking to as many people as possible, like, someone hire me. Yeah.
Oh, cool. No, thank you for coming. What did you think about the event? He says being worried if it was good. If not, we'll cut this out.
Which event?
Our event.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
really good. I got
Yes,
free cupcake. That was good.
So the trick to any good event is just give people free cupcakes.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens after that, they will not remember. So yeah,
The previous event I just came from gave me a cupcake and it was great.
there you go.
Yeah, no, I'm really impressed. I didn't expect it to be as big as it was. And the Samsung KX Center is like really cool. Never been there before.
That's a nice way.
Yeah, so it was nice. I brought my friend along. I met loads of connections. I loved the way you guys did like the whole. I messed it up. I think I told you guys, but you probably don't remember. I didn't know that you could only ask people 2 questions.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a sheet basically, and it was what they gave you when you walked in. They were like, "Fine, talk to as many people as possible and try and like get them to answer these questions." And so I would walk up to you and I'd be like, "Hi, have you ever cosplayed a video game character?" And then write down their name, but you could only ask them 2 questions. So I didn't realize that. I written someone's name pretty much all of them. And then I had to cross it out in a big mess. But yeah, it was fine. It was really fun. And I got to talk to loads of people because of it. So I thought that was really brilliant.
Cool.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you for that. We didn't even stage that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's talk about this event. So what have you found? Have you been to develop before? You have
Never been to develop. I found out about it about 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And I was like, I might as well come. Better get on it. Like book a hotel and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So as a first-time visitor, how have you found the event? What stood out for you?
It's been really great. Honestly, it's been really busy. Like, I was told this before I came because I was talking to a lot of people, and they were like, whatever you've booked, and I'm talking about all the free events that are like on the unannounced, the unofficial, it's like a little sheet with all of it on it. I had signed up to loads of things, and I'm just like, I can't, I'm too tired. Like, I'm here, I'm like talking to this person, having an interesting conversation. I can't leave. Like right now I'm supposed to be at the ADHD lunch, and I'm like, I should go, but like I'm really having a good time here. And it's like, by the way, I might have undiagnosed ADHD. If you ever talk to me, you'll realize I just forget what I'm saying, and then it'll be really awkward.
We're used to that.
It's like I'm diagnosed with ADHD since last year, and we've been doing the podcast for a number of years now. We'll be mid podcast, and I'll like get sidetracked or forget what I'm saying. So totally fine. I get it.
Sorry, what other questions did you have?
I was going to ask, so you said you're recent graduate last year. What did you study? Was it video game related?
So I went to Hertfordshire University for games art design and art. So I focused on environments and props and like assets and stuff. Modular pieces, made my own game with my friends, and it was fun and stuff. And I did little game jams over the years, but now I'm really like, I really just break in, someone hire me. And it doesn't help that I love art, but I really want to get into like production. So I'm like, I'm really good at talking to people. So I'm trying to think I should work towards my strengths and try and go for that. But it's just really hard, and the industry is in such like disarray because I've heard loads of people being made redundant. I wasn't even in the games industry. I was adjacent to it. And I still was like, I took voluntary redundancy, so the company wasn't doing so well and all this stuff, so I took it. But yeah. Then I was like, it kind of opened up a door for me because I was like, I don't even want to be in toys. I want to be in games. I want to be in video games. So yeah, brought me back to it, and I'm very grateful for it, honestly.
That's good. Yeah, that's cool. And then you're here. So I guess that is like a step. I was doing a talk earlier about onboarding future generations and what the industry can keep in mind to bring on more people like you and people younger than you as well. What would you like to see in terms of like your process in getting into games? What would you like to see?
See, this is the thing. I was at the talk yesterday, which was, I think it was like Menemies or something like that. It was about, I think it was women in games, and they were doing a talk about how women, the struggles women face in industry and like microaggressions and all this stuff. And I wanted to say something, but it wasn't really to do with the topic. And I was like, going to uni, I was part of the esports team. Like, I was on the committee as the including officer, and I did a games degree. My lecturer, like about 9% of the society was computer science men, and then also my lecturers were all white cis males. Like only one was a woman, and she was a visiting lecturer. He was an ex-student. So it was kind of like, if we want to see change in the industry, we need females who are already in forms of leadership to start teaching younger generations. And I wanted to say that, but I was like, I don't know, I'm pretty scared, and it's kind of off topic. But like, we really need to do things as women and just kind of step forward and be like, I want to help the next generation. And you're doing that clearly. But yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I just assumed you gender, but yeah.
Assumed correctly. No, I totally get that. I mean, we do workshops in schools, and I think there was one workshop in particular we done in a class, and I would like, at first there was one girl and another girl came late, and I was like, no wonder they're struggling. Like, they are in a room full of guys, and not just like they were very like classically boyish, if that makes sense. Like the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are they meant to thrive? Like, how are you meant to thrive when there's like, it's not even the teachers aren't even like trying to foster a better environment.
I don't want to diss my lecturers because they did a great job in that sense. It was just, and they were very inclusive. It's just, as a woman, I feel more comfortable talking to a woman because I'm part of Limit Break. I don't know if you've heard.
I'm
Yeah.
also part of them.
Oh, okay. Sure. And I just specifically wanted a woman because she understands the struggles that I've been through, and nothing against men, nothing against non-binary people. It's just my own position and role as a woman, and I want someone to relate to who can help me break into the industry.
Yeah.
My mentor's a producer for Square Enix, and she works on Life is Strange. And I was like, I gotta see what did you do? What did you do? Get me in.
So we don't have much time. So I want to quickly ask, what is, if you was on the beach right now, what is your go-to game to relax?
I tend to play games on the beach, but I guess if you guys were dissing Animal Crossing, I'd probably go with Animal Crossing. Yeah.
Someone has to come in with it. Traditional.
Thank you.
But I can prove the Stardew Valley thing. Jesus Christ. Running back from like the mines, like, oh my God.
Cool.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah.
Thank you for talking to me, I guess.
No problem. All right. Thank you. No, love. No, it's cool. There we go. So that was that. That was our podcast. So before we get kicked out of the room, we'll just wrap up and say, thank you to everyone for joining us. I forget how we usually end these things.
We are mayamada. You can find Story X Story on all your podcasting platforms. We do also have a Twitch channel where we have games nights and casual conversations with comic creators that Nigel hosts. You can find us mayamada, mayamada.com. Showrunners as well, if you're interested in
work experience or pointing people our way. But we're also at a conference, so feel free to grab us while we're here for the day. But thank you everyone for joining us. I appreciate your time. Oh.
Yeah.
I keep thinking someone's just going to say like Animal Crossing or something.
I'm loving this. I was having a conversation earlier about how the fact that I hate the term cozy games, because that's subjective. Like, what makes one person feel cozy doesn't make enough. Like Stardew Valley, for instance, that is like known as a cozy game. That is like hell on earth for me. I get so stressed. I feel like I spend my entire life like trying to manage like task management. As like someone with ADHD and self-employed, I have to like
do that.
I have to constantly be like, where should tasks go? When I sit down and play a video game,
you don't want to do.
I'm stressed. I'm so and there's not enough time in the day in Stardew Valley. I constantly end up like it being night and I'm out and about and I haven't done everything yet, and it's like, you fell asleep in the middle of the beach or something, and I'm like, great, lost all my money.
To be fair, Animal Crossing is not a relaxing game for me. One, because I feel Tom Nook is a gangster. I don't know how people haven't discovered this. Like, it's like proper gangster tactics. But and then two, because I'm not good at gardening, and I didn't realize you have to actually tend to the garden. But then they tell you how bad the garden is. So I've basically just abandoned the game some years ago because I'm afraid to come back.
This is why you just like invite loads of friends over to your island and then they just do the weeding for you.
That's
like, you don't even have to say anything. People will just pick up
fix it for you. I might have to do that with my actual garden in home because that's.
Oh no, it doesn't work in real life.
Doesn't it? Okay.
No, unfortunately, it's just in Animal Crossing. Should we get someone else up?
Yeah, I'll just keep the curtains closed. Anyway, hi there, I'm Nigel from mayamada. Thanks for watching our video. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the other videos we have on the channel. You can also listen to and subscribe to the Story X Story podcast at mayamada.com/StoryXStory. We'll see you soon.